Hello, my friends. We're going to talk about karma today and what karma is, how it affects your life, how it'll affect your next life, and all of the things in between. So, what is karma? Well, I'm sure you are familiar with what karma is. It is part of the law of attraction. What we do, the choices we make consciously or unconsciously, will affect our future, essentially. So, what happens when we do something good? Things become easier. We work in the karmic law of cause and effect, meaning that we are creating and manifesting from a place of love, from a place of kindness. Things are going to happen smoothly. We'll have good relationships and so forth and so on. What happens if we do something bad? Well, this certainly plays out with the past life reference. So when I talk about past lives, and I'm going to talk about this more because it's something that I'm working with, I'm going to further my experience and understanding and teachings with it as well, because it is a huge part of our existence, of who we are, what we are, and where we come from. And when I'm talking about karma to do with past lives, could be good, could be challenging. Everything has a higher and lower polarity. For example, when I went into my own numerology, I discovered that I had many karmic debt numbers. And this is a really great way to find out if you have karma within yourself. What this means is, if we have karmic debt numbers, it means that we have done something bad. There was an abuse of power. I don't want to say bad because we do things bad all the time, not by choice. Sometimes we just mess up, and that's fine. We're human. You won't have anything really karmically to worry about if you just make a mistake. But if you do something that is an abuse of power, which the karmic debt numbers represent, then that is what is going to follow through. If you do something abusive, if you do something to someone or a living being, animal or human, without their consent, against their will, their free will, then yes, it very well could come back at some point in your next life to make amends, to make things right, to set things straight. Karmic debt numbers, I'm going to touch on that again. How you find your karmic debt numbers, you have to go into your numerology by manual calculation. You most likely will not get a karmic debt number calculation by a general life path calculator that you find on the internet. There might be some karmic debt calculators out there, I don't know. But I found mine out by basic calculation, by doing everything manually. I found out I had 5 karmic debt numbers in my name and birth date within myself. That was a lot. I've only met one other person who had either the same amount or maybe one more than me, and that was rare. It was a lot. It was a lot. And I know my history. I know my history throughout my past lives, more or less, not all of it, of course, but my main story and what has played out. Throughout my life, I felt like I was paying off karma. I could not do enough for myself or for others to set things right and to make things work. I felt like I was constantly trying to add money to the karmic bank. I couldn't figure it out. I didn't know what was going on. Like, no matter how hard I tried, how much of a good person I could be, it wasn't working. And I mean, there are many other layers and experiences that were intertwined. It's not just karma, of course, but my own experience, I had a lot to settle. I had a lot to make right because I was abusive of power in my past life. I wasn't always like that. I came from light. I came from love, where I'm moving into now, where you possibly are as well. So we all have our own individual story, but karma, of course, can play out in good karma when we do things right, when we do things intentionally to help, to further humanity, to be of service, to work from a place of love. Or again, if we are abusive of power, if we harm another being without their consent or without their free will, then yes, there is going to be something coming back to make that right. If we have misused power in this lifetime, it very well can show up in this lifetime. It doesn't always have to be from past life. Now, another example from past life is if something has happened in a past life where there was harm done to another person, harm done within a situation, it very well could show up in this lifetime to make amends, or for you to close that cycle, to heal it, to fix it. And no matter what you're experiencing, if you feel like you are going through something karmic, then the best way to deal with it is to deal with it through love. That always wins. You don't necessarily need to know what that situation is all about and why it's playing out and who this person, what happened in the past. You don't necessarily need to know. Although if you feel like you need to know, you can definitely go into past life regression, into the Akashic records, to find out more about what that story is about, so that you can maybe even make more sense of it. But truthfully, the best advice I could give is to just deal with the situation with love. If you feel like someone's attacking you, if you feel like they're coming after you, or they're just making your life miserable and difficult, it's up to you to deal with it with love, with kindness, with forgiveness, with empathy, with compassion. That really is a strength that we can work with everything in life, really. But karmically, if you want to end a cycle, if you want to resolve something, that is the way. It's through love. It's through compassion. No matter how hard that person is on you, no matter how tough they are on you, no matter how maybe they may have made your life a complete living hell, forgiveness and love, forgiveness and love, forgiveness and love. As hard as it might be, that is going to break the cycle. And that is such a difficult thing to do when our ego comes into play, when what we feel is right with our integrity, with our values, with our principles of how you treat people, how you should treat people, how everyone should just be kind to everyone. It's not always the case. And not all situations are karmic, by the way. I should mention that. Not all situations. If you have someone you're dealing with who's very difficult, it could just be a difficult person or something, a challenge that you're meant to go through and learn through. It doesn't have to be karmic. But sometimes if you are very aware, if you're very sensitive to this kind of work, to this practice, you'll very well probably start wondering if this is a karmic thing. Why is this person here? Why is this situation here? Why can't I escape it? Why has this caused so much hurt and so much pain? And also remember, pain and hurt is only the frequency that we give it, that we allow to give to that pain or hurt. So the pain and hurt is there. It's up to us to work with the level of pain that we're giving it, or we're allowing it to affect us. We don't have to be in continual perpetual hurt and pain and sorrow and, oh, this was so bad and, oh, that was horrible and that was just, it just almost killed me. We allow it to weigh on us that much. We allow it to affect us that much. And it's up to us to be very cautious of how we use our power and our abilities for the greatest good of all. When we abuse it, then we're going to pay the price later on. It might happen in this lifetime. If it doesn't happen in this lifetime, it's going to follow us to the end. Thank goodness I'm a life path 9, because this is the end of the line for me. Although I know I'm cleaning up my mess that I had from my past life for sure. I do feel that once I learned my karmic debt numbers, I had weight lifted off my shoulders, and I knew that by identifying what it was, I was allowed to move on. I had peace of mind. I was allowed to just completely go, okay, now I know what that is. I didn't need to know where it came from, but just knowing that I had these debt numbers on me and that something did play out in the past life allowed for me to move forward, allowed for me to have clarity so that I can move on, so I can just rest at peace knowing that that's what it was. And I felt like it was. I felt like that's what it was. It's like the tarot or a psychic telling you something that you just know exists, but you're not allowed, or you're not able to put it into perception or put it into, make sense of it in a real form, in something almost that your mind needs for clarity. So once I was able to understand that, then gone. I was able to move past it and move on from that point. I'm sure there are a lot more rules and information about karma than I could discuss here. What I have really focused on for myself is with regards to past life and how situations in the past life have played out in this life and how I could make things better by knowing information from my past life, and even just understanding how karma plays out, and also knowing that no matter what the situation is, that I have the full ability to make the situation better, to heal it, and to stop the cycle by working with the frequency of love. And no matter how difficult and even traumatic some of these experiences were with people who showed up, I know that they are here to, some of them, I know that some of them are here to make things right. And it's up to me to keep the cycle going by feeding fire with fire, or by saying, okay, I'm going to be at peace with this, and I'm going to heal this with love and forgiveness and kindness. Even though it hurt, even though it felt wrong, even though it felt like it wasn't the right way to go about things, it's okay. I'm going to make this better, and I'm not going to carry that energy anymore. I'm not going to carry that energy anymore, and I'm not going to live in that story anymore and situation. I'm going to heal it with love and move on. Hopefully there won't be another one coming up after that, but you never know. At least by going through the exercise, it will get better and better and easier to forgive and heal and live with that frequency of love. So I do hope this message finds you at the time when you need this. Maybe you're going through something of your own. Maybe you're questioning if you've done something in your past life. And remember, this is our experience. We're figuring this out as we go along. Love always wins, no matter what. As difficult as it sometimes is to go into that frequency or that understanding or that compassionate or healing through that place of love, it will set you free. It will break cycles. Right, so I do hope that is offering some advice and clarity. I'm wishing you all the best during your journey, and I will be seeing you soon. Take care.